Remember the magic of childhood Christmases? The cozy aromas, the festive feasts, and those unforgettable dishes. Join us as we revisit the iconic foods that defined Christmas in the 1970s. Roast turkey with cranberry sauce. Roast turkey with cranberry sauce has been a holiday staple ever since President Lincoln's Thanksgiving proclamation in 1863. Though we often associate turkey with Thanksgiving, this dish seamlessly carried over to Christmas in the 1970s, becoming a centerpiece for many American households. Cranberry sauce, particularly the jellied kind, was a must-have, with brands like Ocean Spray leading the charge. The contrast of the turkey's crispy golden skin and juicy tender meat paired perfectly with the sweet tart cranberry sauce. Cranberries, one of the few native fruits commercially grown in the U.S., held cultural significance, symbolizing the American harvest. Some families added their own twist to the sauce by incorporating herbs, citrus zest, or spices for extra flavor. The aroma of roasted turkey, mingled with the sweet tang of cranberries, filled homes with holiday warmth. While the tradition of this pairing remains strong today, in the 1970s, it truly embodied the spirit of a festive Christmas feast. After enjoying the comforting combination of turkey and cranberry, many families craved something even more luxurious on their holiday table. Prime rib roast. Prime rib roast was the crown jewel of Christmas dinners in the 1970s, symbolizing luxury and indulgence. The post-war economic boom made high-quality beef more accessible, and in 1970, a prime rib roast could be purchased for just $2.75, a steal compared to today's prices. Families would roast this cut to perfection, allowing the savory aroma of garlic, rosemary, and pepper to fill the home. As it cooked, the edges would turn crispy and golden, while the interior remained tender and melt-in-your-mouth juicy. This luxurious roast reflected the growing prosperity of the time and was often served with horseradish sauce or rich jus, making it a dish that satisfied even the heartiest appetites. Historically, prime rib had been a luxury reserved for special occasions, but holiday discounts in the 1970s made it a more common sight at Christmas feasts. While turkey remained a staple, prime rib was the choice for those looking to elevate their celebration with a true show-stopping centerpiece. After a hearty serving of prime rib, families turned to dishes that brought comfort and ease during the busy holiday season. Remember Crockpot beef stroganoff. Crockpot beef stroganoff. Crockpot beef stroganoff became a Christmas favorite in the 1970s, offering both hearty comfort and convenience during the busy holiday season. Originating from 19th century Russia, this creamy dish brought tender beef, savory mushrooms, and a rich sour cream sauce together, served over warm noodles. The rise of crockpot cooking in the 70s revolutionized meal preparation, allowing families to toss everything into the pot and let it slowly simmer to perfection while they enjoyed other holiday activities. As the stroganoff cooked, its rich aroma filled homes, creating a sense of warmth and comfort on cold winter days. The dish's ease and flavor made it a perfect solution for busy families looking to serve something delicious and filling without spending all day in the kitchen. Crockpot beef stroganoff also introduced international flavors to American holiday tables, signaling a growing interest in global cuisine. By the 1970s, it had become a beloved staple, offering cozy, flavorful indulgence during festive gatherings. And what better way to start Christmas morning than with the sweet scent of something baking in the oven? Keep watching. Christmas morning, coffee cake. Christmas mornings in the 1970s often began with the comforting scent of freshly baked coffee cake wafting through the house. This moist, buttery cake, with its tender crumb and sweet cinnamon sugar topping, was a beloved tradition in many American homes. The warm aroma of cinnamon filled the air, signaling the start of a cozy holiday morning. The origins of this treat trace back to German and Dutch immigrants in the 1800s, but by the 1970s, it had become a staple of Christmas celebrations. Often featured in magazines like Red Book, families would gather around the table, sipping coffee or cocoa while enjoying this simple yet delicious cake. Some added personal touches, like cranberries, nuts, or even a drizzle of glaze, making each family's recipe unique. Baking the coffee cake was often a shared tradition, passed down through generations, adding a nostalgic warmth to the holiday. For many, this cinnamon-laden delight was the perfect way to start Christmas Day together. After indulging in the warmth of coffee cake, it was time for something fruity to brighten the Christmas brunch. Apricot cranberry bread. Apricot cranberry bread, was a vibrant and festive addition to Christmas brunch in the 1970s, combining the tangy sweetness of two beloved holiday fruits. Cranberries, one of America's native fruits, symbolize the winter harvest, while dried apricots added a bright, citrusy contrast. Together they created a moist, sweet loaf that was both refreshing and satisfying. The bread, often served warm with a pat of butter, filled homes with the comforting aroma of baked fruit and spices. Its vibrant red cranberries and golden orange apricots made it as visually appealing as it was delicious, adding a pop of color to the Christmas table. The bright hues reflected the joy and warmth of the holiday season, symbolizing abundance and togetherness. Recipes for apricot cranberry bread were shared in popular cookbooks and magazines, making it a popular choice for mid-morning Christmas gatherings. This light, flavorful bread offered a welcome alternative to richer holiday desserts, perfect for serving alongside coffee or tea. Of course, no holiday meal would be complete without an elegant, show-stopping dessert. Meringue, snowballs in custard. Meringue snowballs in custard were a whimsical and sophisticated dessert that graced many Christmas tables in the 1970s. These delicate snowballs, made from whipped egg whites and sugar, were carefully poached until they achieved a light, airy texture. Floating in a pool of rich, velvety custard, their soft sweetness offered a refreshing contrast to the heavier dishes typically served during holiday feasts. The snow-white meringues, with their pillowy appearance, resembled delicate snowballs, making them a visually stunning centerpiece on the dessert table. The custard's creamy richness paired perfectly with the ethereal meringue, creating a balance of flavors and textures that added an element of sophistication to the meal. Families often personalized the dessert by infusing the meringues with hints of vanilla, almond, or citrus zest. Beyond taste, this dish's elegant presentation, with the snowballs gently floating atop the custard, made it a showstopper and a testament to the elevated dining trends of 1970s Christmas celebrations. Was a hearty, savory option that brought a taste of the coast to the Christmas table. Remember Cioppino, seafood stew, then keep watching. Cioppino, seafood stew. Cioppino, a rich and hearty seafood stew, became a flavorful addition to Christmas dinners on the West Coast during the 1970s. Brought to San Francisco by Italian immigrants in the late 1800s, this coastal dish quickly became a regional favorite. Made with a variety of fresh seafood, clams, shrimp, fish, and sometimes crab, Cioppino simmered in a savory broth of tomatoes, garlic, wine, and herbs. As it cooked, the fragrant aroma of tomatoes, garlic, and wine would fill the kitchen, creating a warm and inviting atmosphere perfect for winter evenings. The dish's robust flavors were a festive contrast to more traditional holiday fare, offering a unique and sophisticated twist for families wanting to incorporate seafood into their celebrations. Its Italian-American heritage added cultural richness to the meal, and Cioppino's versatility meant families could use whatever seafood was available. This hearty stew embodied the flavors of the coast and brought a touch of seaside festivity to Christmas dinners in the 1970s. And to bring even more color and flavor to the Christmas spread, there were side dishes that could steal the show. Honey glazed spiced carrots. Honey glazed spiced carrots became a beloved holiday side dish in the 1970s, adding a perfect blend of sweetness and warmth to Christmas tables. The natural earthiness of the tender carrots paired beautifully with the rich, sticky honey glaze, while a sprinkle of cinnamon or nutmeg brought a festive aroma to the dish. As they roasted, the kitchen filled with the warm, spiced scent of honey and caramelized carrots, signaling the start of the holiday feast. Visually, the bright orange carrots glistening with the golden honey glaze provided a striking contrast against the richer, darker main dishes like roast turkey or prime rib, making them as beautiful as they were delicious. This simple yet flavorful dish embodied the growing trend of combining sweet and savory flavors in the 1970s, while also being an easy and affordable option for holiday cooks. Honey-glazed spiced carrots were a lighter, refreshing addition to the feast, offering a perfect balance to the heavier, more indulgent fare. Remember taking a bite of roast turkey with stuffing. Roast turkey with stuffing. In the 1970s, no Christmas dinner was complete without a perfectly roasted turkey paired with a savory, flavorful stuffing. The turkey's golden, crispy skin encased tender, juicy meat, while the stuffing, made from bread, herbs, and sometimes sausage or dried fruits, absorbed all the rich juices from the roasting bird. As families gathered around the table, the warm aroma of roasted turkey and herbs filled the home, symbolizing abundance and togetherness. In the 1970s, families often got creative with their stuffing recipes, incorporating regional variations or personal touches like nuts, mushrooms, or cranberries, making every dish unique. The stuffing, whether packed with savory sausage or sweet-dried fruit, added a rich and hearty texture to each bite. Versatile and customizable, this classic dish allowed for endless variations, from cornbread stuffing in the South to chestnut and sage versions in the Northeast. Roast turkey with stuffing became more than just a meal. It was a comforting tradition that brought people together during the holiday season. Did you also enjoy the traditional roast turkey with cranberry sauce? Pigs in a blanket. Pigs in a blanket, bite-sized sausages wrapped in flaky, buttery dough, were a fun and festive staple at Christmas parties in the 1970s. Originally featured in Betty Crocker's 1957 Cooking for Kids cookbook, these savory snacks quickly became a hit across the Midwest, especially during holiday celebrations. The warm, golden brown crescent roll dough provided the perfect contrast to the juicy sausages inside, and some families added cheese or mustard for extra flavor. Their small size made them the ideal finger food, easy to pop into your mouth while mingling at holiday gatherings. The comforting aroma of baking dough filled the room, signaling the start of a lively and social celebration. Pigs in a blanket were perfect for parties, keeping guests happily munching and chatting without breaking the flow of conversation. Loved by both kids and adults alike, they became a go-to appetizer for any festive event. While still popular today in the 1970s, they were an essential part of any Christmas party spread. Christmas meatballs. Christmas meatballs were an unexpected yet popular addition to holiday feasts in the 1970s. Initially, the term Christmas meatballs referred to a sweet pudding-like dish that was sticky and rich in flavor, but as the decade progressed, families began transitioning to savory versions made with turkey or beef. These meatballs, spiced with warm holiday flavors like cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves, brought a comforting aroma and taste to the Christmas table. The spices gave the meatballs a festive warmth, making them feel perfect for a cozy holiday meal. Served with a tangy tomato sauce or creamy gravy, Christmas meatballs were versatile and customizable, allowing families to adapt the dish to their own tastes. Whether enjoyed as a main course or a bite-sized appetizer, they became a crowd-pleasing option at holiday gatherings. By the end of the 1970s, savory Christmas meatballs had solidified their place as a comforting and satisfying addition to the festive table, loved for their heartiness and warmth. For a taste of something more nostalgic, pumpkin bread was often served as a sweet treat during the holidays. Pumpkin bread. Pumpkin bread was a comforting and nostalgic treat that became a holiday staple in the 1970s. Its moist, spiced crumb and rich, earthy flavor made it the perfect way to savor the last of the autumn pumpkin harvest. As the bread baked, the warm aromas of cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves filled the kitchen, creating a cozy atmosphere that embodied the holiday season. Recipes for pumpkin bread frequently appeared in magazines like Good Housekeeping, solidifying its place in Christmas celebrations. The soft, tender texture of the bread made it ideal for enjoying with a hot cup of coffee or tea on a chilly winter morning. Many families added their own twists, incorporating crunchy walnuts or sweet raisins to enhance the flavor and texture. Pumpkin bread became more than just a dessert. It was a homemade tradition that symbolized holiday warmth and comfort, offering families a delicious, spiced taste of the season that would bring everyone together year after year. And no holiday table was complete without the show-stopping centerpiece, a baked ham with a sweet and tangy glaze. Baked ham with a brown sugar citrus glaze. Baked ham with a brown sugar citrus glaze was a show-stopping centerpiece at many Christmas dinners in the 1970s. The sweet and tangy glaze, made from a blend of brown sugar, orange juice, and sometimes pineapple or cherries, formed a beautiful caramelized crust on the ham. As the ham roasted, its rich, savory aroma filled the kitchen, while the glaze bubbled into a sticky golden glaze that gave the dish a sweet, citrusy punch. The ham's tender, juicy meat paired perfectly with the caramelized crust, creating a harmonious balance of flavors with every bite. In the South, this dish was particularly popular, with families often incorporating local ingredients like pecans or honey into the glaze for added sweetness and depth. The result was a holiday indulgence that was as visually stunning as it was delicious. Families would gather around the table, eagerly slicing into the slow-roasted ham, savoring the perfect blend of sweet and savory that made this dish a festive holiday tradition. Once the table was full of savory dishes, a rich and creamy side like potato au gratin added warmth and indulgence to the meal. Potato au gratin? Potato au gratin, a rich and indulgent dish of thinly sliced potatoes baked in a creamy, cheesy sauce, became a holiday favorite in the 1970s. Originating from French cuisine, this decadent side dish quickly found its place on American Christmas tables, offering a luxurious complement to roast meats like turkey or prime rib. The highlight of potato au gratin was its crispy, golden brown cheese crust, created by a generous layer of melted cheese that bubbled and browned to perfection. Underneath the crust, the potatoes were tender and creamy, coated in a velvety sauce that brought warmth and comfort to every bite. Some families added their own twists, incorporating savory ingredients like bacon, onions, or ham to make the dish even more flavorful. The combination of the rich, cheesy texture and the crispy top made potato au gratin a must-have at holiday feasts. Its French origins gave the dish a touch of elegance, but its comforting flavor made it an American classic during the festive season. Garlic bread. Garlic bread, with its simple yet irresistible appeal, became a household favorite in the 1970s, in part due to the introduction of commercially available frozen versions by brands like Kohl's Quality Foods. This made it easy for families to enjoy garlic bread during the holidays without much preparation. The bread's golden, crispy edges contrasted with its soft, buttery interior, creating a perfect texture that delighted both kids and adults alike. Slathered with rich garlic butter, sometimes enhanced with herbs or a sprinkle of cheese, the bread filled homes with its mouth-watering aroma as it baked. The scent of warm garlic and butter added a comforting touch to any Christmas dinner, whether it was served alongside pasta dishes or as a standalone snack. The commercialization of frozen garlic bread made this once special treat more accessible to families across America, quickly becoming a must-have at holiday meals, where its savory, garlicky flavor was welcomed at any festive gathering. Stuffed mushrooms brought a bit of elegance to the table, making for the perfect bite-sized appetizers. Stuffed mushrooms were a beloved appetizer at Christmas gatherings in the 1970s, offering a flavorful, bite-sized treat that perfectly complemented the richness of the holiday feast. Each mushroom cap was filled with a savory mixture of breadcrumbs, garlic, and herbs, sometimes enhanced with melted cheese or sausage for added depth. As they baked, the mushrooms developed a crispy, golden breadcrumb topping that contrasted with their tender, juicy texture. The earthy flavor of the mushrooms paired beautifully with the garlicky filling, creating a mouth-watering bite that guests couldn't resist. These tasty morsels were not only a hit at Christmas parties, but also a convenient option for busy holiday hosts, as they could be prepared in advance and simply popped into the oven when needed. Their ease of preparation and rich, satisfying flavor made them a go-to for festive gatherings. Served alongside appetizers like pigs in a blanket or shrimp cocktail, stuffed mushrooms quickly became a staple on the holiday appetizer spread. Fondue, cheese or chocolate. Fondue was more than just a dish in the 1970s. It was a social experience, especially during Christmas parties. Whether it was savory cheese fondue or decadent chocolate fondue, this interactive meal brought people together around the communal fondue pot, turning mealtime into a shared event. Cheese fondue, made from melted Swiss cheese and wine, invited guests to dip crusty bread into the warm, gooey mixture, creating a flavorful bite with each swirl. On the sweeter side, chocolate fondue, often spiked with a hint of liqueur, offered the perfect dessert, with fruits, marshmallows, or pieces of cake dipped into the rich melted chocolate. The aroma of melted cheese or chocolate filled the air as friends and family gathered, sharing stories and laughter between bites. The interactive nature of fondue made it a perfect centerpiece for holiday gatherings, encouraging connection and conversation. As the fondue craze peaked in the 1970s, it became a festive tradition, adding fun and flavor to Christmas celebrations across America. And before the meal truly began, French onion soup served as the perfect warm-up, bringing rich flavors to the holiday table. French onion soup? French onion soup became a rich, warming favorite at Christmas dinners in the 1970s. largely due to Julia Child's popularization of French cuisine. This hearty soup featured deeply caramelized onions simmered in a rich beef broth, creating a savory base with layers of sweet and earthy flavors. The highlight of the dish was the slice of toasted bread placed on top, smothered in a generous layer of melted Gruyere cheese that bubbled and browned to perfection. As the cheese stretched with each spoonful, it added a gooey, indulgent texture that complemented the sweet onions below. The soup's deep, complex flavors made it the perfect appetizer for cold winter nights, offering warmth and comfort to guests around the holiday table. Julia Child's influence helped elevate French onion soup's status, making it a trendy and sophisticated choice for Christmas menus in America. Its combination of hearty broth, melted cheese, and caramelized onions made it a memorable start to any festive meal. For a more elegant appetizer, shrimp cocktail brought a sophisticated touch to the 1970s holiday table. Shrimp cocktail was a glamorous and refreshing appetizer that brought a touch of sophistication to Christmas dinners in the 1970s. Featuring plump, juicy shrimp served chilled, this classic dish paired perfectly with a tangy cocktail sauce made from ketchup, horseradish, and lemon. The cold shrimp, with their firm yet tender bite, were complemented by the sauce's bold, zesty kick, creating a delightful contrast of flavors. Shrimp cocktail was often presented in elegant glass bowls or tiered serving trays, making it a visually striking centerpiece at holiday gatherings. The bright pink shrimp nestled against the rich red sauce added a pop of color to the Christmas table, enhancing its festive feel. Its light, refreshing flavor made it a popular choice for guests to enjoy before diving into heavier main courses. In the 1970s, shrimp cocktail became a go-to appetizer for parties and dinners, symbolizing elegance and indulgence. Today, it remains a beloved dish, but it truly shined as a holiday favorite during this era. And for those who preferred something more luxurious than turkey, roast duck with orange sauce made for an elegant alternative. Roast duck with orange sauce was a luxurious alternative to turkey at Christmas dinners in the 1970s, offering a more sophisticated option for families looking to elevate their holiday feast. The duck's tender, juicy meat was perfectly complemented by the crispy golden skin, which added a delightful crunch to every bite. The real star of the dish, however, was the tangy orange sauce. Made with fresh citrus, sugar, and often a splash of liqueur, the sauce brought a zesty brightness that cut through the rich, savory flavors of the duck. The sweet-tart combination of the sauce and the succulent duck created a balanced, elegant dish that stood out on the holiday table. While duck was more expensive than turkey, its rich flavor and tender texture made it a special treat for families aiming to impress their guests. The vibrant orange sauce added a festive flair, making roast duck with orange sauce a memorable centerpiece for Christmas celebrations in the 1970s. Eggnog was an iconic holiday beverage in the 1970s, filling homes with its rich, creamy flavor and festive cheer. Made with milk, cream, eggs, sugar, and often spiked with rum or bourbon, this frothy drink was a must-have at Christmas gatherings. The warm aroma of nutmeg sprinkled on top made each sip comforting, perfect for cozying up by the fire on a chilly winter evening. Whether served, chilled, or warmed, eggnog was a social drink that brought friends and family together. Often served in decorative punch bowls during holiday parties. Its thick, custard-like texture and slight boozy kick made it feel indulgent and celebratory, while non-alcoholic versions kept it family-friendly. The 1970s saw the rise of store-bought eggnog as well, making it even more accessible. Creamy, sweet, and spiced, eggnog became synonymous with Christmas, embodying the warmth and joy of the season. Green bean casserole was a staple side dish at Christmas dinners in the 1970s, loved for its creamy texture and crunchy topping. Made with tender green beans, cream of mushroom soup, and topped with crispy fried onions, this dish brought comforting flavors to the holiday table. The creamy sauce coated the beans, providing a savory richness, while the fried onions added a delightful crunch with each bite. Easy to prepare and often made ahead of time, green bean casserole was a go-to for busy holiday hosts. Its combination of textures and flavors made it a crowd pleaser, and it became a favorite in many households across America. The dish's simplicity and ability to complement heavier meats like turkey or ham made it a beloved part of the Christmas spread, adding a touch of nostalgia to the festive meal. Jell-O salad was a colorful and playful addition to Christmas tables in the 1970s, offering a sweet and refreshing break from the heavier holiday dishes. Made with flavored gelatin and often filled with fruit, marshmallows, or whipped cream, these vibrant molds were a popular holiday treat. Jell-O salads came in a variety of flavors, from lime to cherry, with families adding their own twists by incorporating ingredients like canned pineapple, mandarin oranges, or even cottage cheese for a creamy contrast. The bright colors of the Jell-O, molded into festive shapes, made it a visually striking centerpiece at holiday gatherings. Light and sweet, it provided a fun and nostalgic touch to the Christmas menu, especially popular with kids. In the 1970s, Jell-O salad symbolized a playful take on dessert, blending creativity and tradition. Of course, nothing could bring sweetness to the table like a serving of candied yams. Candied yams were a beloved Christmas side dish in the 1970s, bringing sweet and savory flavors together in a comforting holiday treat. The yams were baked in a syrupy glaze of brown sugar, butter, and cinnamon, creating a caramelized topping that contrasted with the soft, tender yams beneath. Some families added marshmallows on top, allowing them to melt and brown into a gooey layer of sweetness. The rich, buttery glaze soaked into the yams, giving each bite a warm, spiced flavor that perfectly complemented holiday meats like turkey or ham. Candied yams were not only delicious but also easy to prepare, making them a popular choice for busy Christmas cooks. The dish's rich sweetness made it feel indulgent and festive, a must-have at holiday feasts throughout the decade. And to cap it all off, no 1970s Christmas would be complete without a traditional fruitcake. Fruitcake, often regarded as a traditional Christmas dessert, was a popular treat in the 1970s, despite its reputation as a dense, heavily spiced loaf. Made with dried fruits, nuts, and spices like cinnamon and cloves, fruitcake offered a rich, sweet flavor that deepened over time as the cake was often soaked in rum or brandy. The dried fruits, such as raisins, currants, and candied cherries, provided bursts of sweetness, while the crunchy nuts added texture. Though fruitcake was often the subject of jokes due to its dense texture, it remained a classic Christmas dessert, symbolizing tradition and holiday cheer. Many families baked their fruitcakes weeks in advance, allowing the flavors to intensify. Its rich flavor and long shelf life made fruitcake a lasting symbol of Christmas, adding a nostalgic touch to holiday celebrations in the 1970s. These cherished dishes shaped the warmth and joy of Christmas memories in the 1970s. If they brought back nostalgia for you, like, subscribe, and share your favorite holiday dishes in the comments.